Gen Z is probably the loneliest generation in all of human history. And if you're Gen Z, you already know that, bro. You already fucking know that. So the problem is to really like articulate this for people who are not Gen Z. And that simply is as follows. Once you're over 30, in like no matter any what generation you're from, once you're over 30, you will not have more than two close friends at the maximum. You'll not have more than two close friends. You're just not. And that's already a thing for a lot of Gen Z people. You're just not going to have any close friends because excuse me, when you have when you have friends in Gen Z, you'll most likely keep them for a couple years at the maximum, and then everyone fucking goes their own way and does their own shit again. You can't having lifelong bonds with people is over. That is shit people don't do anymore. And I need you to understand this because people say, "Oh, well, you have to adapt and you can't do old tricks in the new era because it's just not gonna work because the tricks you're trying to pull aren't for this world anymore. They're for the world of 20 years ago." And I really need some water. Hold on. They're for the people of 20 years ago, right? And since they're for people from 20 years ago, it really doesn't matter because you're gonna try that and it's gonna get you nothing. Because if you're living like 20 years ago, most people aren't living like 20 years ago. That's the issue here. So there's that. There's the fact of you realistically can't win. You can't win much of anything in societal dynamics with friends or romantic intrigue. You can't win because when you try to play the game, you're playing the game by your rules and everyone is playing by their rules, which and inevitably ends up not working because if you're playing by your rules, you're not playing by somebody else's rules. And if you're playing by like, the standard rules, let's say, that doesn't mean everyone's playing by that shit. And that's the problem is that because you think something that you might say might be normal, that doesn't mean that that is normal or that that is like even an acceptable thing to do, which is so weird to think about because like you know what I mean, I've never considered that. I'm just a guy at the end of the day. And excuse me, it's very annoying to sit here and deal with this shit because every day I'm gonna put the link in the description now. If you check the description, you'll see what I'm talking about. But there's so much cheating in dating right now, and there's so much shit that just is happening that makes no sense logically. Like how many times I've been extremely forward with a girl and they'll be like, "Well, I had no idea that you were into me." And I'm like, "How? How did you not know?" I feel it's very obvious and apparent that I was acting like I was into you. And yet somehow you didn't figure that out. This I don't understand, to be totally honest with you. It makes no sense to me. Um, and the woman wants you to put so much effort in all the time, and to the extent of if you're not putting in effort to do even things that she should be doing, then you're fucked because that's like what you have to do now. Because I was watching this guy who's 20, he's 22 years old. 22 years old, he's already married, and um his wife was like, "You need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that." And she was like, "You need to go to counseling. We need to go to counseling together. We need to go do this and that. You need to start doing this and that." And prior to this, she moved back into with her mother, and the guy was left alone. And they're religious people. This shows you that even getting a church girl doesn't fucking save you, because they're both religious people. And she was tweaking. They went out one time. They went to couples counseling. And like, if you don't watch the video, that's fine, but I'll explain it to you. Um, they went to couples counseling, and after that, they came out of it one day, and the girl said to her boyfriend, her husband, because they were married, that's right, said to her husband, she said, "I'm dropping out of nursing school." And he said, "Are you sure?" And she was like, "Yeah." And he said, "That's a really big decision to make. Are you sure?" And she was like, "I don't know." And she was in the car, she was freaking out, and she was breaking down. And he was like, he basically deduced that she was cheating on him. And she was like, he was like, "Well, who are you cheating on? Who is it? Like, who are you cheating on me with?" And she was like, "My boss at work." We're going to pause again real quick. And here's what it is. Usually when I pause, by the way, like that, because I realize I can do that, I'm thinking and I'm compartmentalizing the information that I'm about to say to you in the next minute or so. The reason that's why dating is so out of the cards for like 90% of people is because we live in a low trust era of society where no one trusts anybody, and without trust you can't date, right? Because if there's no trust, you can't trust your partner to not do bad things, and you can't trust your partner you can't even trust yourself to get a healthy partner, because it's always the times, dude. It's always the people you would not expect to cheat on you are the ones who end up fucking cheating on you. That's the funniest part about it. Is that no matter what you do, even if you're like a really stand up guy, guess what? Guess what? She could still fucking cheat on you. That's the funniest part about it. She can still cheat on you. There is nothing preventing her from cheating on you, because cheating on you is not illegal. It is not even socially. You're not socially ostracized for cheating on people anymore. Back in the day, that shit would get you some mean looks, and people would know that you're a cheater, because I've heard from people who are, older than me that I work with, that, hey, don't, that so and so's a cheater. You know what I mean? And he was right, because I heard stuff, and apparently that guy was cheating on somebody, and that's why he's in hot water. But anyway, that's a anecdote that just goes to show you that, like, why there's nobody dating, dude. Because, like, look, why are you supposed to be getting married in the order of God in your early 20s? Yes. Are we living in a world that supports the order of God? No. That's the problem. So look, while I would love to be able to get married and have kids by the time I am like in my late 20s, early 30s, yes. Is that going to happen? Probably fucking not. Because if you look at what happened to my dad, my father was 30 years old when I was born. He was 30. My mother was 37 when I was born. And that's pushing it. I'm not saying she was old, but that's at the point where having kids gets much harder. See what I'm saying? So once you start getting to that point in your life, excuse me, goodness gracious, having kids becomes like, I wouldn't say a no go, but the chances of something going wrong are much higher. And that's why I thank God that I'm here now, because there's a strong chance I could have been a miscarriage, or I could have been, just a failed pregnancy, because my mom and dad were shocked to find out that she was pregnant at the time. Like, I guess they were trying, and, my father said he didn't really want kids, but my mother talked him into it. And it just goes to show you, like, how things are so much different than they were 20 years ago. And that's the thing nobody wants to understand. That's the pill nobody wants to swallow. Is that things are completely fucking different than they were 20 some years ago. Because everyone knows, they just know what their mom and dad told them about dating. And that doesn't always hold up, just to be totally honest with you. And the reason why that doesn't hold up is simply because what your parents had to go through in dating is not what you were going to have to go through in dating. It is a completely different thing. You're simply not going to have to, um, you are. You're going to have to do shit that they didn't have to do. And that's just the way it is. Like this cheating shit was nowhere near as common as it is now. I'm being so for real. It's nowhere near as common. It was nowhere near as common as it is now. Because, bro, I've heard from fucking everybody. I'm not even kidding you. Every person I've talked to, like every one of my close friends I've made over the years, or ones that I know, through Xbox, or that I met them, on Xbox, or I know them from online. Every single one of those people that has had a relationship has told me that they've been cheated on once, especially if they're a guy. I'm not saying women are the bigger cheaters, but I feel like they have more of an incentive to cheat because men, like I said, we don't care. We don't care about what our girlfriend looks like that much. Like, yeah, do we like it if she's beautiful? Absolutely. But but here's the problem, dude. If she's beautiful, we'll just keep her. We're not gonna go cheat, dude. Like, if we are already with our girlfriend, 99.9% of the time, the homie is not gonna cheat, bro. And I'm not saying that it has to be a woman thing or a man thing, but it's just that I feel like this shit happens to men more, that they're cheated on more than any other thing. I feel like they're cheated on more than men get cheated or women get cheated on. Because, dude, I'm not gonna say that it doesn't happen, because it definitely happens. I don't want, because people will put words in your mouth if you don't explain shit extremely carefully. That's just the issue, is that there's no trust, and since there's no trust, there's no dating. That's why also having friends is on the downturn, because what, you can't have friends if you can't trust your homie. You simply can't. That's the worst part about it. That's the thing that people just don't want to accept, is that there's literally just like no reason, there's no incentive for the 90th percentile of people to actually like do this stuff. And okay, so we're back again. So here's the thing, right? Is that I talk my one friend from work that I talk to all the time says that she experiences a level of precaution towards men. And I've always told her, I said, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Like, when I'm talking to a woman or a girl, whatever you want to say, because I'm in that tweener zone where you're 20. Um, when I'm talking to a girl and she's giving me like red flags or whatever, I'm not afraid of her. I'm not cautious. I'll just either go, yeah, I'm in, or no, I'm not. And that's what I feel like is the difference between men and women, is like women don't, that's the thing, dude, is that women try to say they understand men, and men try to say they understand women, and let's keep it a stack. Neither of you know what you're fucking talking about, okay? I don't pretend to say I understand women at all, okay? Women confuse me to no end. So guess what? I stopped trying to understand them and how they work. As soon as you stop trying to do that, it'll make way more sense because you're not out here worrying about, oh, what do I, well, if I do this, then that happens, and then if that happens, then this happens. Motherfucker, stop being so worried about dumb shit. Let's keep it a stack with you. It makes logical no sense to me how any of this has any weight in the real world, to be totally honest with you. And she was saying that she has precautionary measures for when talking to dudes, and I was like, why? And I said, you are the same people who say you'll get upset and you'll get scared when a man gets angry. And if you're a man, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because I've heard so many times women start tweaking. They'll start being like, I'm going to drink some water, hold on. They'll get so confused and they'll get so upset at a man who gets angry. And I'm like, when men get angry, when most men get angry, let's keep it a stack. They get upset and then they cool it, right? They don't get angry and then like go and do something. They don't get angry and go start like fucking hitting people. Doesn't happen. I've never seen that shit happen in any of my days ever. So when you get angry, I've never ever went, I'm gonna fucking like actually hit somebody. I might say I could hit somebody, or I could punch somebody out, but I never do it. You know why? Because I'm a fucking normal adult human being, and I have the foresight to understand that if I do something like that, I'm going to go to jail, right? And I feel like if you act like a man is not going to consider that, you're automatically putting men down as a class of people because you assume we're fucking stupid. That's the problem. Is that men and women assume the other party is like retarded. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. They assume the other party is retarded, the other sex, whatever you want to call it. And that's again where our issues are coming from. Because if you don't put men and women, because we're not the same, right? We are not the same. But if you don't put men and women on the same playing field, you've already lost. That's the issue. And excuse me. You've already failed because if you're not on like the same or similar playing field, you cannot date because you guys are in two different fucking worlds instead of being in a semi a semi related world. So that's your issue. If for example for sake of comedy, if you live in Lord of the Rings and she lives in Star Wars, that you've already fucked it up so bad. Already fucked it up so bad, dude. Because you're experiencing two different states of reality. And one of you will basically never ever attempt to see it the other person's way. That's what I feel like is going on. Because women always want to say they have it the worst, and men always want to say they have it the worst, and, you know, everyone wants to have it the fucking worst for some reason. And I don't understand at all why that's even like a cultural like thing. Why that's even a fucking happening in society. It makes no sense to me of why that's even an issue. So here's another thing, right? And I think we're gonna put in some closing thoughts. This video may have been cyclical, but I think I got my point across. And another issue is that women like to um kind of like play, I wouldn't say play dumb, but they'll like pretend that they don't understand like what's happening. And that is another really stupid thing that I've seen happen time and time again. Like it makes no sense to me. Like I said, I was talking to this girl and I made it pretty apparent that I was interested. I was complimenting her looks, and I was saying, "Wow, you look beautiful," this and that, and talking about her. She's got pretty strong legs, so that was kind of attractive. But you see what I'm talking about? Like, no matter what, how fucking forward you are, it's like not enough sometimes, and it makes no sense to me because I thought I was being pretty forward, and I even told her that like I'm trying to talk to you, I'm trying to go through like the beginning stages of a thing with you, and she like that went right over her head, and she was still talking to her ex. She was talking to her ex, texting him the other day, and like we're at the point where like you almost have to tolerate some of this shit, bro, because like men are getting no play from the typical woman in the modern era. Like I only know one dude. Let's see. Yeah, one guy who actually has a long-term relationship, and he has that relationship because he's a cuck. You see what I'm saying? He's a cuck. His girlfriend doesn't even actually like him. She just likes that she can bounce on his D. Let's keep it as PG as possible. But that's why she's with him. And I know because she was trying to get with me and some other guy right before him. And that's just where we're at, bro. Like, I don't know if it's hypergamous, if it is the right word, but dating is extremely fucking competitive nowadays, bro. It's like dating is literally like playing Marvel Rivals in fucking one above all rank or something like that, bro. Like it's not even enjoyable. That's how fucking hard it is. And that's why I'm not even looking, dude. Like I have this girl in my phone named Lily. Maybe something will come out of, me talking to her. Probably not. I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm not getting excited for any of that shit because it always ends the same, dude. It always ends the same. It always ends, oh well, you weren't there for me, or you didn't. Holy god. You didn't remember my birthday. Or you didn't say happy birthday to me. You didn't, you forgot our anniversary. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I work for a living, and that's not me making an excuse, but these are things that like you and your spouse are supposed to be worried about, not your fucking girlfriend, dude. And I feel like these are the things that people don't understand. Like people act like I wouldn't say they get way too close, but they get like caught up too early in this shit in their relationship, and it's like you guys just started dating. Like genuinely, what is happening? Like I just don't understand that. It makes no sense to me because I've seen it happen time and time again. The homie is seeing a girl and she's basically just controlling his entire fucking life, and she's not submissive at all. And that's it. Like women don't understand that men don't like masculine fucking women. We don't like that shit. I don't understand what's so confusing about that. But like women thinking that them having money is attractive, I wouldn't say they're dumb. They're just misinformed. They have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Because so many times I've heard women say, "Oh well, men like a woman who's academic and is is good with money and shit, and has is good with finances." And it's like I don't give a fuck about any of that. And women like to pretend that like men do care about that, and it's like you know what men care about. Do you know? I don't think any women know what men actually care about. So let me say this, okay? Men like women who are not gonna cause them any strife. They like women who are going to put them at peace. They're not going to take their peace away from them. They like women who are feminine and, friendly, open to conversation, not arrogant. And I've met so many women who just think that it's funny to say shit like, well, of course I'm right, I'm a woman. And like that shit is fucking annoying because it's like pushed by the new status quo is that women know what they're doing and men are fucking stupid idiots. And it's like both of this shit is retarded. Let's keep it a stack. Both sides of that fucking coin are blemished and dull and stupid. It makes no sense for you to actually sit here and say, yeah, women are fucking stupid. Because men are fucking stupid too. It's a human condition to be stupid. It's nothing. It's nothing. You don't have to be a special race, sex, or gender to be a fucking moron. It's very easy to be a fucking idiot. And I swear people make this shit like an Olympic sport. Because nobody gets that their actions have fucking consequences. And you doing stupid shit is going to have fucking repercussions. Like sitting here and saying shit like that is gonna make you look dumb. It's all it's gonna do is make you look fucking stupid. That's the problem. And it's so annoying to have to explain this to people. Because I don't know if it's people are acting like they just don't know what this is. Because, like, I've met so few women who, like, even attempt or want to attempt to understand a man. And, like, men as a sex of people. Because, like I said, we don't like the shit that you think we like. Like, all the makeup and, high heels everywhere. That's female gaze shit. Just like how being jacked and a bodybuilder and like 10% body fat, or I'm sorry, I meant more like 5% body fat. 10% is pretty normal if you're an athletic person, but being 5% body fat and all that shit and being jacked and putting gel in your hair, that's a male gaze thing. Women don't like that stuff. Women don't actually like bodybuilders. They don't. That's the thing. Like, and then men don't like women who are, fake boobs and BBL and with plastic lips. We don't like that shit. We like normal, natural women. Like literally, if you ask me right now, who is like one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood movies? You have Florence Pugh, and when she was young, you have um, the girl who played Marion in Indiana Jones in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That woman was also beautiful. And she's beautiful now, dude. She's like 60 years old. She's still beautiful, dude. Like, and that's how you gotta be. If you keep your feminine nature and you don't put all this shit in your body, in your face, you'll look pretty damn good at that age. Like when you get there, you'll still look pretty good. And I feel like women don't understand that idea of men don't like a lot of the shit that they've been told that men like. Because I'll tell you right now, I have zero interest in all this shit. It honestly feels performative, like I was talking about in the last video. It feels performative to be like this in tune with like what is happening in the market for dating, it feels weird. It feels disingenuous. And it feels like I'm just kind of being like cheated out of what I should have had. Cuz like I say all the time, I'm about to go make breakfast after this. I'm very hungry. So we're going to wrap up this video. But I say all the time, I say men, excuse me. God dang. Men do not have what their parents and grandparents had at their same age that they are now. So when grandpa and dad were in their 20s and early 30s, they had, successful dating, and they were able to like date and actually like have healthy relationships in their 20s. And men simply don't have that, bro. We don't have that. I have met so few of my homies from high school that actually that have even been flirted with by a woman. I'm considered like an above average male at this point because I'm not saying like I think I'm some extraordinary guy or something, but in my own friend circle, it's considered crazy that I had a girlfriend in high school. You see what I'm saying? And that I had a girlfriend immediately post high school. People think that's fucking bananas. People think that's fucking bananas. And I just don't understand. I do not understand what is happening here. Of how we are in such dire straits. I mean, I explained it already, but like if men and women would just cooperate towards, actually being there for each other, they probably wouldn't have such a problem right now. But that's the video. We'll see if it uploads properly. I'd never made a video with cuts in it before. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, anything to say, put them in the comment box. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.